We need to let them have it in the info war. We've got the smarts, no matter what they've done to us. Some of us still have it. We've got the will. It's time in the info war to hit them and hit them hard and hit them again and hit them again and hit them again and hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them. When you think you're tired, get that second wind and hit them 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 and hit them. And when they hit the ground, stomp them. And stomp them into the ground. You know where that old thing comes from, the old word of I'll stomp you into the ground? Because in the old days when people would beat each other to death, that's how you do it. You stomp somebody into the ground. Now, I'm not talking about physical violence here. I'm talking about in the information war. Hit them, and then hit them again, and then hit them, and then hit them. And when they hit back, that pain does not feel good, but it feels good to the soul because you know you are gunning right up in them. You know you're hitting pay dirt up one side and down the other. We got to stand up for all these innocents. These people are running through like a meat grinder right now. I can just see all the innocents. They're tearing up and diseasing and hurting and ruining and taking their dreams and destroying them. And I want the spirit of humanity to turn towards the light and turn towards life force and creativity and the dynamic human spirit that refuses to submit and turn the power of humanity loose against these enemies. I want posters of her printed up in the office. And I want posters of Eric Pianka. It says, kill 90% of us. I want to get photos of David Rockefeller, all of them. And I want them all over our walls. I want us to remember who we're fighting. I want Bill Gates, another demon-eyed creature. They can look right into their souls. I want us every day to remember who we are and remember who our enemy is. Their crimes must be met head on. Every corrupt, inbred elite always builds the same system where the public is scum and they've got to torture us and starve us and dominate us and make us grovel, and that they're our saviors. This is what the scum of the earth manifest in every culture and every society. This is the attack profile, signature, algorithm, wavelength broadcast of demon scum. Sworn upon the altar of God, for I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. That's Thomas Jefferson. Roll down so we can see who said the quote. It's another similar one. There's another one of you. Those that stand for nothing will fall for anything. It's been said many times throughout history. That's why they can't find out exactly who said it. It's also attributed to Alexander Hamilton. That's great, guys. I want to play the liner. We have a liner of Thomas Jefferson with the voiceover guy saying it. But let me hit him in the core here. The eugenics death cult took the writings of Plato and others from 2,400 years ago or so, or is it 2,300? They took the writings of that, because that was already the belief of the Greeks, changed it, because they thought a few thousand Greeks was crushing the, quote, breast of Mother Earth. So they had to, and they wanted to exterminate the poor people and all the rest of it. Because it's a disease of inbreds. It's always in a decline of a system that they start thinking they're God. Early on in the Roman system, Greek system, others, the common person and their hard work and the fact that the real strong blood comes out of the commoner and refreshes the elite, that's what always builds it. But as things become decadent, it's the other view. Then the elites always carry out policies to dumb down and make the commoner the squalid animal that they have stated we are. It's like, you are dumb, so I'm going to give you a lobotomy to prove it. So they take this idea in about 1850 or so, codify it along with the theory and the origin of species, The Wedgwoods, the Galtons, the Darwins, the Huxleys, they all intermarry on record to produce the Superman. If they were such supermen, they'd know that the Egyptians and every other royal society had done this until most of their children are born stillborn, mentally retarded, or if they do live, are wildly vicious and schizophrenic and psychopathic. Because, I mean, that's what happens if you get to breed a dog and breed them a whole bunch. If they make it through the medical problems and most of the litters completely die, you're going to end up getting some litters that are completely insane and vicious. In the litter, the few that live, that's the real system. Plus the elites drinking pottery lined with lead to make it waterproof, making them criminally insane. The inbreeding with other families. And so they believe they would produce the Superman, the Vril. That's what I cover in my Secrets of Prometheus leaked video. It's only got 400,000 views, should have 10 million. This is what the elite believe. And we've got their genealogy because it was public. They did it as a public experiment. By 3 generations of this, that's just 60 years on average, every 20 years start having children. Within 60 years, almost all of them were stillborn, miscarriages. The few that lived had to be locked up in mental institutions, horrible deformities, and they got a few of their, quote, supermen and put them in over the UN and everything. Julian Huxley, all of them. That's your supermen. So now with the genetic engineering, the chemical warfare, we're following a 160-year-old plan. They said we've got to discover what makes, the smallest compounds in the body so we can control it. They did discover DNA. And all the discoverers of DNA on record are say none of us are human except them, and they're going to kill all of us, and blacks are animals. Go look up, there's 3 discoverers of it on record, and then just take their name and put in, say blacks aren't human, and say everybody else need to be killed, and you'll get their quotes. It's big scandals. But it was because they were looking for it, had control of the government, and wanted this power. And they'll say, yeah, you say we're ugly and twisted, but look, we're the ones that looked for it, so we're going to the next level. So they say we're not part of the debate of GMO. We're not part of the debate of how they say they're going to forcibly evolve us to merge with machines, those of us that are left. They write articles about how they plan to kill most of us and laugh at us in public magazines like Wired Magazine, saying even though we're writing this, you won't care. Bill Joy. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to be killed, and I don't want to join with you either. I mean, they get most of these low-grade morons in and tell them you're part of the elite because you believe in this, and then these very people are being soft-killed. I mean, this is like the worst serial killer comes to your door and says, I want to take your son, for a week for a trip across America. You'd be nuts to turn your child over to him. And that's who runs our society, our governments and systems that have been caught thousands of times killing our troops in secret experiments, killing foster kids, shooting people up with syphilis, polio. And I know more and more this is all I tend to talk about because that's it. I mean, we're in a system murdering everybody with soft kill weapons, with compartmentalized doctors who don't know what's going on. We're breaking that compartmentalization right now. More and more are getting it and freaking out when they go research what I'm saying. And we are in a system where a bunch of crazy people that think they're going to be God men, the first computer that IBM, Thomas Watson came up with was race mixing study computers. Then he sold them to Hitler. The number they put on people was to be put into that computer. It was a mechanical computer, and it would decide how much to feed you, how long to keep you alive. They put in height, weight, age, pallor of the skin, and it would tell you, do you just go ahead and shoot this person, work them to death, or how long can you work them to death? Our entire system, biometrics, 150-year-old plan by Galton to create a system for buying and selling and deciding if your eugenics are pure. All of it, every major science, every single science was taken over by them and turned into a way to prove they're the supermen and we're garbage. And now they've screwed up humanity. Our DNA is screwed up. Our sperm, eggs, everything fried on record, 90+% fried. They're attacking the entire Earth, the entire biosphere, this instinct, this will to destruction. There are the thousands of plant grasses being GMO released, just total warfare against the planet, genetic Armageddon, slaughter of the biosphere, while running around saying they're saving the Earth. I mean, just mega crazy, mega insane, mega off the charts. We'll be back. I'll give you the number to call in. All right, we are back live. The globalists say that they are God, and so they've sought after the technology. Well, we're happy to just raise our children, live our lives, and contribute developments that they then steal and cobble together like pieces of Legos and build monstrous constructions. And I've intended to take calls, and then I just look at Bill Gates giving people polio vaccine, and it's spreading polio all over the world, full of cancer viruses and paralyzing the kids, and they just go, yeah, conspiracy theorists think they're doing it on purpose, but it is doing it to them, but we're going to continue. Yeah, conspiracy theorist means people that don't trust known liars. They think the mega banks have imploded the world economy on purpose and are taking over. But in truth, the big banks are just taking over to take care of everybody. Yeah, autism's gone from 1 in 25,000 plus to 1 in 50, 1 in 60, depending on which actuary. But yeah, it is a big global epidemic, but it's sure not the mercury we inject into you or the pesticide fluoride they spray on the crops or all of it. Just a total curse on our children. And you know that Alex Jones, he's a bad guy. He gets upset by all this. See, I've gotten to the point now, ladies and gentlemen, where I can't go to the shopping mall because they got cops all over them now, like we're a third world country or something, and to go buy some shoes or whatever, because I'll see a kid with their hair falling out, age 10 or 12, even sometimes with ports in their chest, because they'll have their shirt down. You can see the big lump. If you know what you're looking for the chemo insertion, or the chemo's on their arm, little chemo ports. And, they're being taken out. They'll be dead in a few months. But, mama's taking them. Mama's real sad. Hits me like punch in the stomach. Boom! And then I'll see some cop or security guard looking at everybody like they're the enemy on a little power trip. And I want to go over and grab them by the shoulders and say, we're all being murdered, idiot. Stop thinking we're the enemy and we're the bad people. Understand it's the system. It's all this guilt, how the general public's bad. The general public's going to do something, but, the government and the big bank buildings and all the shining, steel structures, that represents the establishment with a bunch of pot-bellied, twisted-faced, evil. It's just that the evil manifest on their faces, just with crazed looks in their eyes. And every photo I see of these people, just in rapture, that they're hurting everybody and getting off on it and just endlessly torturing us and screwing with us and hurting us and dumbing us down and poisoning us and spreading poverty and wrecking societies and shutting down our industry and diseasing everything. I want to awaken the spirit of humanity to recognize the difference between good and evil and see the curse and the disease that is the New World Order and its henchmen and its minions. Death manifest. Death attacking creation and the system of creation. An attack on the genetics of the globe. Of course they claim they're environmentalists because they are earth killers. They are death. They come to kill, steal, and destroy. Recognize them as the eternal enemy they are. I had a magical experience yesterday. Magic. I went home a little bit early, about 5 o'clock, pulled off the road by a green belt. I know people won't climb down the cliffs too. Went down into Barton Creek and swam for about an hour, swam laps. And the reeds and the sunlight coming through at an angle, the little perch swimming over to me, the crawdads, the butterflies. It was like Valhalla. The toll-free number to join us on some of the issues